So my name is Alan Filer. I work at a company called CoorsTek. We do technical ceramics. I'm an R&D engineer in the R&D group down in Golden, Colorado. And yeah, CoorsTek does generally monolithic ceramics, a lot, but across a vast range of areas, anything from semiconductor to aerospace to defense to home durables, et cetera, et cetera. Polymer dry ceramics, I dabble in a little bit at CoorsTek. So one of my colleagues invited me here to just see what was going on. It's nice to see where the research areas are looking at, what people are looking at doing with things. Hopefully we can feedback a bit as well into the community and get some collaboration in that kind of sense. So the traditional area they're applied is aerospace and defense and that kind of area. So that's the really big industry focus at the moment. Some of the other things they were working on in some of the sessions they talked about, like the microreactors or microfluidics, were interesting. But as far as I know from our industry, it's mostly in aerospace and planes like that. So my opinion on the future of the materials is you're finding or understanding the more basic science behind some of the properties that industry cares about would help get more acceptance in a way. So say for aerospace, stuff like creep or very basic things like how does our composition or density or various other things influence the creep parameters, and maybe minimize cracking, increasing yield would also be useful for these kind of things. So some of those maybe basic science questions on how does the structure relate to some of the properties that are more interesting to industry, maybe not as interesting on a basic science sense, like creep properties and stuff like that would be helpful. It definitely provides an opportunity for the researchers on the academic side and potentially the researchers or the engineers on the industrial side to maybe not see what each other's up to, at least, but from my perspective in industry, see what academia is up to, and then if they ask for it, or hopefully we can kind of feedback to each other and go like, well, here's the kind of areas we're interested in, or here's the kind of things we've been looking at. Maybe industry goes like, oh, hey, that idea is pretty cool. Maybe we can see an application area that would use whatever you're working on, or we can go, well, hey, we actually really need help researching X. And so I think the workshops where those two groups get together, which they may not happen as often as you'd like, are definitely useful. So not being super involved with it, I think from an industrial's perspective, to make them really useful or have large acceptance, there'll have to be one of two things, maybe both things. A very unique application that you can't do in some other way, and potentially tied to that is their cost. Right now, polymer drive ceramics cost a lot. It just the raw materials cost a significant amount of money. So even if they have a unique kind of application area or property or whatnot, if they cost too much, then people will look for almost any other way they can do it before they start looking at polymer dry ceramics, at least in industry. So potentially different or new synthesis methods, maybe cheaper precursors that form into these materials, stuff like that would definitely help. If they were cheaper overall to work with and investigate, then the applications might also broaden. It'd be potentially interesting to see this. I know the students are giving the poster sessions, and maybe that'd be the thing. It might be interesting to see a student or two also give part of the presentation. That's Mostly what I would think. Otherwise, it was pretty much what I expected out of a scientific conference. It was good, good presentations. I thought they were a good length of time at the time they were at, good amount and across a good amount of subject areas.